Hey, how's everyone today? It's me, KR Bankston. I'm back again for another installation into our Inquiring Mind series. Today, we're going to talk about thin ice. So it's going to be basically Thin Ice 101. I got a bunch of questions for Thin Ice, so I was like, let me go ahead and answer these, and it's going to take me more than just one or two installments, and just might as well do the whole thing, vlog it, and go ahead and answer all these questions, and hopefully get you to understand more about Thin Ice, the mindset behind the characters, all that good stuff. And so, the last time we talked, I asked everybody to come up with or give me suggestions for a name that we could call ourselves. You guys that are my faithful, supporters and followers and things. And somebody made the suggestion, why don't we call ourselves KR's Baddies? Baddies. And I said, well, okay, that's interesting. Where'd that come from? And they said, well, because your theme is, bet I can make you love a bad guy. So we would call ourselves KR's Baddies. Let me know how you feel about that. I'm kind of okay with it. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's unique. It's different. So let me know how you feel about it. And we'll go from there. If you have other suggestions, hit me up. I keep telling you guys, send me messages on Patreon. Message me, comment definitely when I post stuff, and let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling, because you might get stuck with some name you just really don't like. So that's how that's going to go. But like I said, today we are going to talk about Thin Ice. We're going to talk about all you need to know about Thin Ice. And for those of you that didn't know, this is book one. It is a collector's edition. It is hardcover. It is the only Thin Ice that I have published to date. It is the only Thin Ice that I have considered publishing. Although I have gotten lots and lots of requests to put them all in paperback. It's a lot. You guys know this because Thin Ice now, really with all the offshoots in the series, we are up to about book 21. And so that's a lot to put in paperback. And so again, I'm thinking Thin Ice may be that series that remains in ebook. This is also a journal. It's a Thin Ice journal. In case you guys didn't know, this existed. As you can see, it has all kinds of neat little quotes in it. Plenty of space for you to write the things you want to write. But there are lots of little quotes from the book. There are some Gianni quotes in here as well, because those, of course, are my two biggest cereals. So they're in there. Yeah, I got my tea this morning. You should have known. Of course, I gotta have the tea. And I don't just drink tea in the morning. I'm that person that'll have tea mid-afternoon, evening, whatever. I like tea. So this cup, building an empire. That's another thing you know about KR. I'm a collector. I like to collect coffee cups. I like to collect shot glasses. I'll show you guys some of my collection the next time we do a video. I'll show you. I have a few of them here in my office. I have a whole bunch of them in my case where I keep them. But just one of those things that KR collects. So now you know. Let's get into it. Thin Ice. The first question I had was, why did you kill Tariq in book one? Simple answer, that's how the story went. Thin Ice was originally created to only be one book. And in that book, unfortunately, Tariq's character died. That was how that went. Well, it didn't stay at one book, right? You know whose fault that is? My business partner, my sister from another mother, my soul friend, author Elizabeth LaShawn. At that time, when I first debuted Thin Ice, we were in this book club called Readers in Motion. I had just found them online because I had just started writing, wanted some people to kick it with, wanted some people to read some of the things that I did, and maybe get suggestions for new books and find new authors, which of course I did all of that. RIM was really a lot of fun. I miss it. It was a great online book club. There was so much interaction. There was so much peer-to-peer help and mentoring and things like that. There wasn't a lot of drama. People wrote and they weren't scared or felt bad about, putting their stuff out there for us to look at and read and give them feedback and that kind of thing. And we don't really have a lot of that anymore. Everybody now is kind of like dog eat dog and all this kind of stuff. And when you do find that select group, you should hold on to them and make sure that you stay close to them and keep those relationships stoked, because it's rare, you know. And I met some great people there. Met author Keith Kareem Williams, author Keith Gaston, author Lakeisha Cox. Just wow, Karen Reynolds. She's an author now. Patrice Smith. I met her there. Is it, or is she going by Grimble? Well, whatever it is. Patrice knows who I'm talking to. I met Patrice there. She was great. Ambry, and just wow, so many people. Mina, and yeah, there's just a lot of people. So it was fun. And so when I first introduced Thin Ice, I put it out there, and everybody was loving it. You know, Lakeisha, she already claimed she's first lady. So I'm sorry, y'all, but she first lady. She's Ice's first wife. That's it. Because she was there from the beginning. She claimed him. That's her man. So when you see me say first lady, that's where that comes from. So we can't even argue with that. She's the first wife. And so author Elizabeth LaShawn, at the end, I remember I did the epilogue, posted, and it's like, you know, I need you guys to tell me what's happening. This chick sends me a private message and tells me, oh, Tariq can't die in this book. This can't be the end. You're going to write another book just for me, with a different ending that he does not die in. Yes. So, I did that for her. It originally was going to be just a quick little short story just to make her happy, because at that point, she and I had clicked, and we knew that there was that chemistry there for that friendship, and we, you know, laughed and joked and all that kind of stuff. And I'm trying to encourage her to go ahead and publish, because while she wrote, and she loved to write, and she was very talented, she wasn't just so much ready to step into that arena and say, oh, you know, I think I'm on the caliber to publish. So that took a lot of cajoling and me threatening her. So yes, that's yeah. Mm-hmm. But I did start on that, and the series at that point took on a life of its own. It was not me anymore. Now the characters all stood up and began to tell me their story and began to tell me their journey. That's how we went from 1 to freaking 12 with no problem. The characters, I mean, you know, you either love them or you hate them. There's kind of no middle ground with most of my characters. It's not like you sort of like them. You either do or you don't. And that's the thing about Thin Ice. So to answer that question, that's how the story went. In the first book, Tariq was supposed to be done. His story was supposed to be finished, but thanks to author Elizabeth LaShawn, I did not stifle that rolling train, because I was done with it and I wanted to be finished and say, I don't want to write anymore. Thin Ice, this was a great story. And to when I first wrote it, the name of the book was called Atlanta. And that's all that it was supposed to be, that one book. Thin Ice came in later, basically because of the character Ice. And everybody who crossed him basically, you know, was walking on thin ice, fooling with him, and, you know, his temper and who he was and stuff like that. So, another question was, when is Ice going to leave that woman alone? Why won't Ice stop chasing or trying to be with Kiki? You have to explain and understand the dynamic between Ice and Caitlin. The easiest way I think I can explain is you would have to understand meeting someone in life, really connecting with them, even loving them. Even when that thing doesn't work out and you walk away, or circumstance happens, or, you know, things go on and you guys aren't together, you still have that place in your heart for them. You still have that connection. There is someone special to me that I met decades ago. And unfortunately, they passed. But the love I have for them, the love that I had for them then, even though we didn't work out romantically, that never left. And that spot was always there for that person. That spot is still there for that person. I still love this person. And it takes away nothing from where I am now with my husband or anything like that. It's just that was an ember that just would not be distinguished. And that's the same thing with Ice and Kiki. She touched him on a level that, very few people in life touch you on. She touched the innermost sanctum of his heart, of his love, of that place that wanted and needed to be loved. And that's why he really can't give her up. So when Ice says that he loves Kiki, it's genuine for him. It may have begun more as a I'm Ice, I'm Ian Ice Bailey, I get what I want, I have what I want, any woman I want, nobody dares. So it may have started with that semi-competition in his head, but the more he spent time with Kiki, the more they bonded, and then to find out their fathers were partners, and there was kind of this whole supernatural, ancestral type draw between them. That's why he can't, just walk away as easily. And that is why he went through such lengths to be with her. I don't know, I don't want to give away everything, because some of those questions that are asked are self-answered if you read the entire series from Thin Ice 1 to Norfrost 5. So, and even Blood Legacies, the Thin Ice Generation series that starts with Blood Legacies, you kind of still get a picture of everything that's going on with Ice and his mindset and how he feels about Caitlyn and those feelings all through that series, all through all of the series. So that's why he just could not say, "Oh yeah, I'm done with her. I don't want to be with her no more." Even when he got with Jayla, when he got with Gabrielle's sister, he liked them well enough. And you notice he would always say, "I care for them. I do. I want to make a life with them." But even in that, you could always see that he was settling. Ice was not fully and completely happy until the things that went on in book 1 of Norfrost Shattered. That's when he was finally happy. Book 1 and 2. But even then, that shadow was always there. That looming was always there of Tariq. Because that's a love story for the ages. The things between him and Caitlyn. Which, for both of them, instead of it just being Ice bonding with Caitlyn on that level, between Caitlyn and Tariq, that's a bonding that they both shared. That was just like, man, for lack of better words, a Siamese twin. It's hard to separate them, and it's intricate, and it's delicate, and sure, it can be done, but they still feel what the other feels. They still have that bond and that tie, even though they're not physically together. And that's how it was and is for Tariq and Caitlyn. And like I said, I don't want to tell everything if you have not read past Thin Ice 12, because the story continues. There's so much more, and you have to get into Norfrost and read all 5 of those books. You have to go into Generations and read those books, because things are still happening. And so another question was, do you have a favorite character in the series? Jeez. It's like asking a mom if she has a favorite kid. Of course they do. They may not admit it, but of course they do. So yes, I do have a favorite character. And I think everybody at this point probably knows who it is. My favorite character is, of course, Ryan Bailey. Why, KR? Because Ryan Bailey embodies more of me than mostly any of the other characters that I infuse various parts of myself into. Ryan Bailey is no nonsense, straight to the point, but he has a heart of gold, and he will do anything to help you. But if you cross him, you're going to wish you didn't. And that mean streak, that's me. I can be mean when I want to be. And a lot of people that meet me say, "Oh my God, I thought you were so mean." I have resting bitch face, so let's get that out there. So now that we're wearing masks, oh dude, I am in my element, okay? People do not bother me. They quickly walk away. And I realize it's because I have resting bitch face. So all you can see, of course, is from this part up, which usually I have a scowl on my face when I get out because, I want you to know up front I'm not here for it. I already don't want to be out here with y'all with Dorona. and I want to get what I'm gonna get and go back home. So, but Ryan Bailey absolutely is my favorite character. His strengths, and how they're counterbalanced by his weakness, and of course, the love he shares with Jaleesa is a lot like the love that I share with my husband. It's volatile, but it's strong, and it's healthy, and it's happy, and we know each other so well that we don't pay each other any mind when those moods fall in and all this kind of stuff. So Ryan is my favorite character because he protects those that he loves, and I am one of those people. I'm fiercely loyal. So if you're in my circle, and I've told you, listen, you're fam, we're close, we're good. Listen, I got you. I got your back. We gonna scrap together. We gonna cuss people out together. We gonna do what we need to do, and ain't nobody gonna come for you. Not if I'm sitting there. I'm not that person that will sit around and let people talk about you, and you're my friend. No, I'm gonna check you at the door, and you gonna go about your business. But if you touch or mess with one of mine, we got problems because I'm coming to see you. I'm locked, loaded, and coming to see you. So that is why I said yes. Ryan is one of my favorite characters. He is my favorite character in the series. A close second would be Mook and Tariq. Mook, because Mook is that dude. He's just he says what he means what he says. Has a fierce sense of loyalty and family. He loves really hard. It just something about him. I really liked him, and when he came into the story, I was like, oh, I like this guy. He's awesome. So yeah, I like him, and of course Tariq, because Tariq embodies a lot of my husband's qualities. He's quiet, but he's deadly if you cross it. And he loves Caitlin with all his being. There's nothing pretentious about that. He absolutely just loves her. And a lot of people are like, oh, he's so soft, he's so weak. No, he's just confident in who he is. Tariq didn't have to act out. He didn't have to do the whole macho thing to prove he was a man. He knew he was a man. And like he told Ice, every time she calls my name when I'm giving her what she needs, I'm the man. So I love those guys. Those are my favorite characters. But I love all my characters. And if I had to pick a favorite, you already know that's going to be my firstborn. Desi Gianni is that man. He's going to always be number one with me. That's my firstborn. I can't, you know what I'm saying? So there's that. So there was that question. And then the other part of that question was, which characters are most like you in the book, in the series? And I think I've answered that. And you guys, you learn a lot about me in the series if you read. A lot of Kiki's hobbies and habits, those are mine. The whole Skittles thing, love Skittles. I'm going to separate them by color. I do not eat them all together. That's disgusting. But the whole Cheetos and the Coke, and those are my snacks. Those are my kind of things. The Jack. Everybody that knows me knows I love brown liquor, and Jack is my boy. So I love Jack Daniels. I love Crown Royal. I love T.I. I love Luda. I love Southern rap, period. So, yeah. A lot of stuff you see in the series, yes. You get a reflection of me. There are a lot of scenarios in there that reflect parts of my life. There are times in my life I have not been always the upstanding citizen that I am now, but we all have lived several lifetimes. Unfortunately, the sexual abuse was also my story. I am a victor over that now, but it happened. So there's a lot of KR in these books, and if you read, you get to know me a lot better. I don't know if you guys ever look on my page, and when I post something, there's one of my girls that posts all the time that comments on my stuff, Kalisa Garrett, and she will always say, hey, Blue, or yeah, Blue, or whatever, because that's her nickname for me. And she figured out really early on in the series that blue is my favorite color, because everything had that shade of blue in it, if you go back to some of the descriptions. So that's why I said you learn little tidbits, and she came and confirmed it, and I was like, yeah, that's true. And I will never forget when I was writing Norfrost, the very first book, Shattered, I got an inbox from my girl Asia. I love Asia. Oh, and my little great niece. Oh, she's so pretty. She's so pretty. This is Ailani. Oh, she's so cute. Anyway, I love Asia. She hit me up in the inbox and she was 38 special hot. You heard me? You heard me. She said, I think she was about 16% in the book. I'm not reading this anymore. I'm putting this down. You are my favorite author. I am so mad at you right now. So I'm sitting here cracking up on my end reading it. She pissed for real. So I take a breath. I come back and I say, Asia, I need you to trust me as your author. Go back to the book. Read it. So she came back about an hour later. Okay, KR, dang it. Ooh, because I was mad at you. I was not going to read this no more. You had hurt my feelings. I was so mad. And I could do nothing but laugh and tell her I loved her. And that was it. And, you know, she read the book and she was okay after that. But I say that to say I love getting inboxes from you guys. I love the emotion. I love the investment that you have in these characters and in these series. Because, baby, over the years, woo, I have gotten cussed out. I have gotten trashed. I have gotten bullied. I have gotten threats. And I have loved every minute of it. It takes a lot to really take me off the deep end and make me say things that I shouldn't. And normally, even when people, you know, are saying things that might be construed a little bit rude, you have to take it in, you know, feel like the spirit that they're in. Now, of course, if you come off fully disrespectful, then KR will check you. There is no, you know, ifs, ands, or buts about that. I will check you on that one. But that was the question about that part of Thin Ice. And somebody else asked, when are you going to stop writing Thin Ice? I don't know. I mean, I thought I was done at book 12. Well, here comes Nora Frost, 5 more books. I said, okay, fine. We're up to 17. Cool. No. Then here comes Generations. We got a story to tell. The twins are grown up now. All the kids are grown. They're living their own lives. They're having their own adventures. Okay, cool. We did those 4 books. I think we were up to 4. Blood Legacies, Dark Confessions, Malevolence, and The Wedding. Cool. I said, they're married now. They're going on with their life. We're done. No. Ryan Alexander Bailey sits back in his chair, crosses his legs, and looks at me and says, okay, now it's time for my story. But player, didn't you? Okay. So, we're doing Ryan Bailey's story. It's called Eldest Son. And I don't know when it's going to drop because I'm still writing it. So, I don't know. But then, never one to be left out or outdone. Ice is on the other side saying, well, when you finish with my brother, I'm ready to tell you my story. But Ice, we done done a whole series with you, Negro. No, I have my own story to tell. Okay. So, Ice's story is coming out. It's called The Solitary Twin. Don't know when that's going to happen because I haven't even started on it yet. But I do know that much. So, I hope that answers all your questions about Thin Ice. There are probably some other things you want to know. Yes, some of the characters were based on people that I really knew in my life that I still know. The character Miss Kim, of course, is based on author Elizabeth LaShawn. That is who that is, in case you wanted to know. The character Tay is based on a young lady that I did know. The character Nikki is actually based on one of my very good friends, Nikki. She's actually one of my patrons as well. Who else is very, very real there? I would have to go through it, but yeah, a lot of those characters are based on real people that I put in the story. Sidebar. Those of you that are reading, Unraveled, you're reading Bait and Switch right about now. That is a fictionalized true account of stuff that went on in the office where I worked. Those characters are real. That story is real. Only some of the names and a little extra something to make it entertaining and cohesive have been added. Just so you know that. But Thin Ice, we've traveled all over the country. We started in Atlanta. You do know that, and then we brought in Miami, one of my favorite cities. Something else you know about me. We brought in Miami. That's where Mook came in. Him and Miss Kim, connected, and then we brought in Gary, Indiana. That's where Ramel and Ja'Cory came in. They are from the Origin series, and their story can be found in Unholy Empire books 1 and 2. And then we went to Overton Park. We did a little bit of Chicago because that's where Kiki is from. And it's also where Author Elizabeth LaShawn is from, but I just wanted to pull it into the story. I thought it would make a great play in the story. So we've been everywhere as far as traveling. We pulled in the different factions. One of my other favorite characters, and why I won't kill him off, is Ray Lockhart. Ray's the man. Say what you want, Ray's the man. And there are a lot of people that don't like him, but Ray is powerful. He's charismatic. He's attractive. He's sensuous. He is that zaddy that y'all be posting pictures of and wanting to get with. That's Ray Lockhart. So, of course, he's one of my favorite characters, and while he may at some point fade into the sunset because he gets older, I won't kill him off. He's just like, for me, he's just right there with Desi Gianni. And I've already gotten threats that I could never kill Desi off. He could fade into the sunset, go into retirement, what the hell ever, but he could never die. And I was like, but that would make him a vampire or something. And it was like, I don't care. He can never die. So, okay. He won't die. I'm going to try one more time to retire the legend, though, because the legend was supposed to be retired after book 4. And here we are at 5 and 6. So, yeah. But we've done that. Who else is it? You should read D.K. Gaston's Lost Hours. That is where my character Shango came from. Shango I liked. He came in book 7, I want to say, when we had Tariq's father come back and all that was revealed and stuff. So he comes from Lost Hours. Bo and Moss. I'm sorry, Bo and Moss. Boss and Mo. Mo, who is one of my favorite characters, Author Elizabeth LaShawn knows this. Can do no wrong, not ever. No, just okay. Anyway, pull it back. Yes, read those characters came from Author Elizabeth LaShawn's Inconvenient Love. They came from the entire Love series. I want you guys to check it out. Love them, love their character, love their personas, loved how they fit and meshed into this particular series. Being more mentors for like Tariq and his crew, and I thought that was great. And then Ray and Horse being, of course, like the mentors, godfatherish type figures for Ice and Ryan. Now, book 6, Hangman and Socrates. That was me actually getting a chance to fulfill a check mark on my bucket list. I have always had a thing with and an interest in the examination of the occult. Now, don't go off on your tangent of, oh my God, that's witchcraft, blah, 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 blah. Not even going into that discussion. The arts, the occult, does the supernatural is not necessarily evil. There is evil in everything, even your every Sunday go to morning religion. Just call a spade a spade. But in book 6, I got a chance to explore occultism and rituals and sacrifice and the ancestral plane of being able to communicate back and forth with your ancestors. That kind of thing. You got a chance to see some of the black magic rituals, some of the voodoo rituals, and not all of them were dark. Now, yes, Carlo was a dark practitioner, but his sister, Taranga, was not. So you got a chance to see that. And for me, that was a chance to write something along those lines because I do have a great interest in that. I do believe that, there are different types of religions and religious ceremonies and deities, and that there are multi-deities and, things like that. So that was fun for me. And a lot of people loved Carlo. And I think it freaked a lot of people out going forward when he was able to communicate with Caitlin and with the twins. Now, the thing you have to understand about children is children are innocent. That veil has not been lifted for them to be corrupted per se. So for them to communicate with the ancestors is nothing. It's basically like, okay, yeah, I see them over there. Let's talk to them. Let's play with them. For kids. For adults, it's always harder because we're always trying to rationalize everything, and we've been taught, what is and what isn't. I'm the type of person, I know that my ancestors are with me. I know that there are a certain set of ancestors that speak to me all the time, that guide me, that direct my path. I have no problem with that. And I spend time in prayer and meditation talking to my ancestors. That does not mean that, oh my God, she's a witch, she's a demon, she's evil. Listen, sometimes you got to come out of that box. I think a perfect place for you to start is if you're having questions, if you want to know more, if you want to delve deeply, you want an all-inclusive space for religion, which is what it should be anyway, all-inclusive, because from my reading and understanding, Jesus loved us all. But check out my girl D. Danielle Thomas with Unfit Christian. She has a page on Patreon. She also has a space on Facebook. She also has a website, unfitchristian.com. So, and check that out and move into that. I have a thing for men with dimples. I don't know if you guys have caught that, but a lot of my male characters have dimples. And I don't know what it is, but I love them. They just, they melt me. So that's why a lot of them have dimples. In case you wanted to know, you're like, what, I can't just have a lot of dimples in him. How the hell is that? That's why. Let's see, book 7, we found Tariq's brother. And I thought that was a lot of fun to write. Especially with the Mo and Kenji aspect in it. And we all know Mo don't play, so when he saw what he saw, he was finna let Tariq have it with both barrels because Mo is very family oriented. And he doesn't believe in that being out there cheating on your chick or cheating on your wife and all that kind of stuff. So he wasn't hearing that. So that was where we came with book 7. We had the whole climactic King Diesel, and then Kiki had to deal with her childhood boyfriend Blue. It was just so much. This series just, it takes you through the gamut, because a lot of people, while they say, well, this can't happen and that can't happen, how do you know? I mean, and I tell people this all the time, and I think that's what annoys me when I read some of the reviews on not only just my work, but other authors' works, and people will say stuff like, oh, that is so unrealistic. Oh, that won't happen. Oh, the author didn't do this. Listen, what it boils down to is your imagination is not big enough to go outside the realms of the box you keep it in and understand that there are things that happen in the world in real life that are not like the things you've experienced. Let me tell y'all something. I watch the ID channel every day. Love it. Favorite channel. And I see stuff on there that has me going, well, damn, I would have never thought of that. Real life people. So never say what couldn't happen. Just say, I haven't experienced that. And then open your mind and say, hey, you know what? Let me take this journey. Let me take this ride because it might be fun. And hey, it could happen. Life is always stranger than fiction. Believe that. So once we left Thin Ice, I thought I tied up everything well. Not so much, because I got more inboxes and questions and questions and questions. And for the longest time, I was like, you know what? Too bad. Work with it. That's it. That's all. But then, Norfrost started speaking to me. Wrote the first book and said, okay, well, this should tie up all the questions. That's how I started the book. Retract that. I said, okay, this should tie up all the questions. I'm going to write this one book. This is going to be the follow-up. This is what happened to everybody afterwards. Leave me alone. Oh, no. I got about 10% into writing the book, and the story started unfolding. And I'm sitting there saying, are you kidding me? And the character said, we ain't playing. We got some other stuff to say. So we did that. Then in book 2, we got a really good look at Mook and his life. And that was something that was important to me because I wanted people to understand him. Because like I told you, he's one of my favorite characters as well. And so we got his story. And then we just went through the gamut of everything of, Kiki and Ice doing more self-discovery, Tariq doing more self-discovery. Oh, just everything. Solace is another character that I love. Solace, remember, is our dude that handles the Black Syndicate. He has the compound in Houston. Solace's story comes from the Origin series. It comes from the book Atomic. That tells you the story of Lady Di and Lady B. And you meet Reaper and Shadow, who also appear in Thin Ice. I want to say books 10, 11, and 12. Their story can be found there. So definitely check those out. That's what I'm saying. All these characters have their stories, so you really need to check them out. Creeper and Pirate, they come from Ex Mafia. That's part of the Origin series. They also have a standalone book. Check them out. Gino Crown, he comes from Christian, which is also part of the Origin series. So all of this ties together, and you guys really should, to get the full experience of everybody and understand everybody's story and why they are the way they are and how they come into this the way they come into it. You really should read all the books, which is the Thin Ice series, the Norfrost series, the Thin Ice Generation series, the Origin series, and it'll bring you full circle. So, like I told you, I don't know when we're going to be done with Thin Ice, but Thin Ice is probably going to always be an ebook. I'm going to really be honest with you. The only book that will ever probably go into print is #1 as a collector's item. You can always buy the journal. You can get all of these things on my site. I think we have wrapped up just about everything on there. The couples, as you can see, they have endured. They have stood the test of time. Some have had to go through separation and come back together. They all have had their share of drama. But, through everything, the biggest message I wanted to convey is that with communication, with a little faith and trust, and with work, everything will endure. That love will last. That love will endure. Nothing happens without the hard work. So, family. That's basically what it all boils back down to with all the characters. Family. So, I hope that answers all your questions. I have had a ball talking to you guys about Thin Ice. I love Thin Ice. That's one of my biggest. Let me know what you think about the name for the fan crew. Should I call y'all baddies or what? Let me know. Give me some other suggestions. Be sure to visit me on krbankstononline.com. For those of you that are watching this video on YouTube, please go over to my Patreon page and visit me. It's www.patreon.com/KRBankston. You have to put the /KRBankston because I write adult material and it's not going to come up in your public search. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at Book Opera Legacy. I am going to bid you a very good day. Peace and blessings always. And remember, if you give me the opportunity, bet I can make you love a bad guy. That's it, y'all. Take care. Love you.